So what happened before was that they told Rabbi Lazar that Ula had passed away. He says, "Oh, he passed away. Ula passed away outside of the land of Israel. Should have come to live in Israel." He said, "No, the coffin's coming." He said, "Well, you can't compare the coffin coming to being absorbed when your person's alive and being absorbed after he passes away." Well, see what that is? It's like in the middle of the page, a little bit up. For me, it's across from Rashi. Well, this fellow, his brother passed away in Beit Chuzai. He's living in Israel. And his brother passed away, left a wife with 2 children. So Gibam, comes to Rabbi Chanina Bar Chama, first generation Amira in Eretz Yisrael, a student of Rabbi. I should leave Israel and do Yibam. Amalei. So Rabbi Chanina says, and he speaks to him in third person. He says, Achiv Nasakutis Omes. His brother married a non-Jew when he died. Baruch HaMakim Shaharga, blessed is God that killed him. And he's going to go after us. Now, it doesn't mean his brother married a non-Jew. It means that he married outside of Israel. To Rabbi Chanina, that's as if not Jewish. Because we mentioned before that outside of Israel, it's like they worship idols. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, the student of Shmuel, says, just like a person not allowed to leave Israel to go to Babel, so too, you're not allowed to go from Babel anywhere else. He considers Babel like as if it's the same laws as the Holy Land. You can't even leave from Pumpadisa. Now, the explanation is because you can't leave the place of Torah. It was a person that left Pumpadisa, that was where the yeshiva was. He went to Beit Kubi. I don't know what that was there. Shamti Rabbi Yosef put him in Cherem, excommunicated. Who did nothing Pumpadisa last Estonia? Sounds like Estonia. Must be another place, right? He left Pumpadisa, he went to Estonia, and Shachab, and he passed away. If only he would have stayed, if he wanted, he could have lived. But he left the place he wasn't supposed to leave. This is not a good Gemara for Shluchim. Shluchim go everywhere. But if you're not a Shliach, then there's a big question: why do you live in, Yehovah's, where there's no Torah or whatever? Rabba v'Rab Yosef Damri Tavarik Shem Shebabavel Eretz Yisrael Kol Tasam. Rabba and Rab Yosef, they both said that the best of Bavel, those that are kosher from Bavel, will be absorbed by Israel. And the rest of the kosher from the rest of the world will be absorbed by Bavel. Lamai, what are they talking about? Are they talking about for marriage? That the rest of the world, if they're kosher, they can marry from Bavel. Turns out that Bavel, the lineage of the people in Bavel, is even better than the people of Israel. Eretz Yisrael is like a mixture with a lot of ingredients compared to Bavel, which is purebred. Everyone over there, they knew their lineage better. Rather, it's talking about the burial, which means that if someone was outside of Bavel, he would go to Bavel to get buried, because that was like the Jewish area. Rabbi Yehuda says, anyone that lives in Babylonia, it's as if he lives in Israel. Woe, see and escape. Yesheves Bas Babel, that sits with the daughters of Babel. Daughters, a lot of times means like small cities surrounding Babel. Which makes a comparison between Tzion and Babel. Baya says we've accepted that Babel will not see the birth pangs of Mashiach. Tirgma Hutzel de Binyamin. They said that this was referring to Hutzel in the area of Binyamin. Bakarli Karna Visa, and they called this place the Horn of Salvation because of the name, because of what Abai said about it, that it's going to be saved. Amar Rabbi Lazar Mason Shebchutz Loisein Einam Chaim. Rabbi Lazar says that the dead from the outside of Israel will not be revived at the Tchias HaMesim. I'll put my glory, my glory in the land of the living, a land that my glory is in, then the dead will come alive. That my glory is not in Mesim Chaim, the dead will not come alive. Masav Rababa Bar Mamal asked a question. Who was the one that said this? Rabbi Lazar. You Mesecha. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yichyu Mesecha. Your dead will come alive. Nevelas Yikuman. My corpse will stand up. My love. Why does it say twice? Yichyu Mesecha. Your dead will come alive. My corpse will stand up. Yichyu Mesecha. That's your dead will come alive. That's Mesim Sheberetz Yisrael. It's referring to the dead that are buried in Israel. Nevelas Yikuman. My corpse will come alive. Mesim Shebechutzlar. That's referring to those outside the land of Israel. That double expression means that even outside the land of Israel. It's a question on Rebbe Lazar. He answers, "My benasati tzvi beretz chaim." That pasuk. Oh no, he doesn't answer. This is Rabbi Marmamal explaining the source of Rebbe Lazar. What do I do with that pasuk that I'll put my glory in the land of the living? Only the land of the living will come alive. And Nebuchadnezzar, it's referring to Nebuchadnezzar. There it's written, Damar Rachman, Hashem said, "Mesina alaya malka the kol kitavya." I'm going to bring on you a king. Kalal, it sounds like swift, as a deer. It wasn't referring to the revival of the dead. It's referring to Nebuchadnezzar coming. Amar, he translates Tzvi as a deer instead of glory. Amar lay. So Rabbi Elazar says to him, I guess, Rabbi Mikrach Hanidarish. I have another pasuk. It says, Neisin Neshama La'amala. Is it Neshama? He puts a soul to the nation that's on it. Ruach Laholchama, spirit to those that walk in it. Which means that who's going to get the new soul, the revival of the dead? That's going to be those that are in the land of Israel. But it says that it's going to be even outside the land of Israel because it says my corpse will stand up. That extra verse is not referring to people outside of Israel. He says that it's referring to the fetuses that didn't survive. Those are also going to come alive. All those extra miscarriages will also come alive. Stillborns. Rabbi Bar Mamal, what does he do with this? He says that even outside the land of Israel, what does he do? That he's going to put the soul to the people that are on it. He uses it for what Rabbi Bo says. Even a non-Jewish maidservant is guaranteed to have the world to come. Here it says the nation that's on it. Stay together with the donkey. And it says the nation that's comparable to the donkey, which I assume that means that just like a non-Jewish slave is owned as property. So I assume that's, at least in this context, that's what it means. So the instead of it says with, and it's changing it to he's darshaning it without the vowels. He's reading it without the vowels. It's the nation. So he's saying that even the nation. Now he's going back to our pasuk, which says la'am aleha, to the nation that's on it, referring to the non-Jewish slaves, that they'll also have a share in the world to come. In Eretz Yisrael. Right. That's what his point. Right. Ruach lahalcham, but what are we referring to? The spirit that goes on it. I'm Rabbi Yirmiyah Barab, I'm Rabbi Yechon, and Rabbi Yirmiyah Barab says name Rabbi Yechon. Kol mahalach Abraham spirit Yisrael. Anyone that walks 4 cubits in the land of Israel, muftach lushu ben elam haba. That's it. This is easy. This is when you got to walk 4 cubits in Israel. You're good to go. Oh yeah. Rabbi Lazar, tzadikim shebechutz la'aretz einam chayim. The Gemara is surprised. According to Rabbi Lazar, the righteous people outside the land of Israel aren't going to come to the revival of Amar Rabbi Loi al Yidei Gilgal. They will, but they're going to have to roll through under the ground to get there. Maskava Rabbi Abba Sala Rabba. Is that his whole name? Is that a trend? Okay. Gilgal Tzadikim Tzaru. So what is it? What's that? They're going to roll on the ground? That doesn't sound comfortable. Amar Abaya Mechilas Nasna Mekakis. No, don't worry. There's going to be tunnels on the ground. It says Yaakov tells his sons, carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial, which means his parents, where his parents are buried. Amar Karna Dvarim Begai. kind of says there's a secret over here. Yaakov knew that he's fully righteous and that he was going to come back alive. He didn't need to be buried in the land of Israel. Why did he bother his sons to carry the coffin to Israel? He could be buried in Egypt. He was worried maybe he won't merit to the tunnels. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll play with you again. Yeah, it says that. Similar to this, we have Vayishava Yosef es Bnei Yisrael. Vayishba Yosef. Vayishba Yosef es Bnei Yisrael. Yosef made the other people swear that they would take him out as well, right? Is that what it says? Oh, Vayishba Yosef? No, the administered is a. Oh, so that was Yosef's oath, or is that? Oh, Yosef's oath. Okay. Amar Chanina, Varam B'Gai. There's a secret here. The guy is inside. There's something hidden here. Yeah, I thought that maybe. What's the Hebrew? Is it by Yishba? Yishba means he took it off. Yash is like. It may mean of the regarding. There was an oath. To make an oath on someone else, I think would be like by Yashba or something. No, that would be to. Yeah, Moshe, you have to comment on the grammar. Yosef knew that he was a tzaddik. So why they have to make his brothers carry him 400 cubits, 400 more than cubits, parseis, 400 parseis, I guess from Egypt to Israel. He was concerned maybe he won't merit to the tunnels. This is Rabbi Bar Nachmani, and Rabbi, the teacher, the friend of Rabbi Yosef, the teacher of Abaya, and his brothers apparently lived in Israel. They sent him he lived in Pumbedisa. They sent him. They said, that Yaakov knew that he was a tzaddik and he didn't need to come, but nevertheless he came. That's the case. So you should also come. Yeah, came to Israel. You should also come to Israel. Ilfa Maisif Badvarim. Ilfa added in these words. Ilfa was a friend of Rabbi Yochanan. Remember, they both went to study they both went to work. They left Yeshiva, they both went to work, and Rabbi Yochanan returned. He added. There was a person that was in love with a girl that lived outside the land of Israel, and he wanted to leave Israel to go marry her. When he heard that he lives outside of Israel, he gets buried, gonna have to go through the tunnels and all of that. Gilgal Batmedi, you might say, he stayed single his whole life. He didn't marry her. Now he adds, even though you're such a great scholar, it's much better to learn with the teacher than to learn alone. Maybe you'll say you don't have any teacher here in Israel. Well, you do have a teacher. Who's that teacher? Rabbi Yochanan. Saying we have a teacher here, we have Rabbi Yochanan. But if you don't come, one thing you should be careful. There's three things that you should be careful with. Don't sit too much. Sitting too much could cause hemorrhoids. Don't stand too much. Standing too much is bad for the heart. Don't walk too much. Walking is bad for the eyes. Should divide it into thirds. Sit a third of the day, stand a third of the day, and walk a third of the day. And any sitting that doesn't have a support, it's better to stand. Really, it's better to stand than to sit. You said that standing is bad for the heart. Sitting on a chair that doesn't have a back, that doesn't have a support. And it's better to stand and lean than to sit on a chair without a back, just on a bench. How do you read that? Is that a comma? Is that what it has? Or is it all three said the same thing? Oh, so they all three said the same thing. Halacha Kirab Yehuda b'Prados. Something funny here because they're starting a new thing. Yeah.
I understand the explanation for sitting too much.
There's another Gemara that says that large footsteps, large paces affects the eyesight. And the way you get it back, the way you get it back is by the Kiddush Friday night. You turn a person's nose with the brachas. Get back the eyesight because it removes, taking large steps removes the person that 1/500 from the person's eyesight. So you get it back by Kiddush Friday night.
I just don't see any relation, but you see, you go one way, you work on it, starts the same too much. That's going to
Affect the heart. Very good. The dress. Very good. Very good. Good. Or you can learn. I know. So, in Chazal, the heart means the heart. Lev means the heart. And Rabbi Kamenetsky, the heart means the lev, and Tanakh means the brain. Because you have lev, chacham, yaskel, zayis. It just so many times it says understanding. The we translate understanding of the heart, understand. But that's because we're making that up. Maybe it doesn't really mean heart. Anyway. Yeah. Right. Right. The Tanya said in a brisa, Rabbi Yudaimer, Pir the Shetava, if there's a mule that wants to mate, you can't mate the mule with a horse or a donkey, even though that's what a mule comes from. So that's really its partner, the horse or a donkey. Only problem is that it's unclear if you follow the mother by animals, if you follow the father. We're not supposed to crossbreed. So you can't mate it with a this or a that because maybe that's not what it's really considered, right? Because it's really a horse, it's really a donkey. It's a cross. Right. But nevertheless, it can't reproduce. But what about it wants to mate anyway? So nothing's going to come from it. Elamina, only thing it can mate it with is with another mule. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak says when we mentioned before Yitzchak, Zer Reb Yitzchak Nachman. When we mentioned before Shimon, Zer Shimon Pasi. Ramala Rish Lakish. Some say Rish Lakish. His name is Shimon ben Lakish. Oishia, when we mentioned before Oishia, Zer Rabbi Oishia Baribi. That's Rabbi Oishia the Great. Rabbi Lozer says, Ami Aratzis Einam Chaim. The people of the earth, they will not come back with the revival of the dead. Shnemer Mesim Bal Yechu. The dead will not become alive. And who is the dead? It's referring to the people that don't study Torah, I guess. Uneducated. Tanya Namihachi Mesim Bal Yechu. We'll see. This is not how it's. Hold on. Started in the Brisa. The dead will not come alive. Yachalakol, maybe that means for all. No, it means those that cause themselves, weaken themselves from the Divrei Torah. It's like willingly. The marpats from Divrei Torah, it's referring to people that specifically don't study Torah. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan says, it's not good for the masters to talk like this. That's talking about someone that weakens himself to idol worship. Amalei Mikra Achar Nidar says, well, I have another source. The dew of light is your dew. Beretz Refaim Tapel. Into the land, the weak will fall. Anyone that uses the light of Torah, or Torah Mechayel, the light of Torah revives him. Anyone that doesn't use the light of the Torah, or Torah Mechayel, the light of Torah does not revive him. The thing is going to make noise. I think that's good. Given the Chazid to come and start, since they saw that he didn't like this, so Amalei, he was pained by this. Amalei, I guess Rabbi Lazar says to Rabbi Yechon and Rabbi Matzasalem Takana min Torah. I have another solution for them, even though they didn't study Torah, but I have a solution. What's the solution? You cleave to Hashem, your God, are living all together today. What does it mean cleaving to God? Can you attach yourself to the Shechina? God is a burning fire, consuming fire. Anyone that marries his daughter to a Torah sage, and he handles the investments of the Talmud Chacham, because the Talmud Chacham wants to sit and learn. So someone's got to handle those the money. Or someone that gives enjoyment to the Talmud Chacham from his property. The Torah considers as if he's connected to the Shechina. Similar to this, it says, love Hashem, you got into cleave to him. Is it possible to cleave to the Shechina? Anyone that marries his daughter to a Torah scholar, and he handles the business of the Torah sages, and he gives enjoyment to the Torah sages from his property. Torah considered as if he connects to the Shechina. The tzaddikim are going to bubble up and stand up in Jerusalem. And they're going to sprout forth from the city like grass of the earth. What does it mean, city? City is referring to Jerusalem. By Chizkiah, the prophet tells him, don't worry about Sabcherov, I'm going to defend the city. Amr Abchir Bar Yosef. Asidim tzaddikim sheyamdu malbusheim. The tzaddikim are going to stand up at the revival of the dead, already dressed. Kavachaymer mechita. I have a kavachaymer from wheat. Why? Machita shnikva aruma. Just like wheat gets buried naked, put a seed in the ground, gets buried, it's sowed naked. Yotze become malavushim, but when it grows up, it gets up with all types of clothing, right? In the husk and whatever it's called. Tzaddikim tzaddikim that are buried in their clothes. Alachas kama v'kama, for sure they're going to get up with their clothing. In the future, Eretz Yisrael is going to give out loaves of bread and
He didn't bring corn. Corn's buried with one, and it comes out with ounces of sugar.
right, but that's the same with the wheat. So the wheat is the same. Also in the same thing. Well, klimelas is like silk garments, right? Or what is it? Wool or silk? Fine wool. Melas is wool. Shnemar he pieces barbaritz. Well, pieces bar means that there's going to be an abundance of corn in the land. The only thing is that the way the Gemara is learning this is that pisas means like the pasiad, means the palm of the hand. It's going to be large. And bar is referring to the food. Okay, so what's going to be large? It's going to be obviously large food means a loaf of bread. And what does it mean? Pisas, it's going to be like ksenas pasim, like the woolen from Yosef. We call it colored, but I think the colored coat of Yosef, but it actually means the woolen coat. Right? It's the ksenas pasim. I don't know, how do we get the colored part? I guess it's another shot. Right. Someone translates pasim as many colors. It must be a Gemara somewhere. But here, pasim means one. There'll be abundance of corn, wheat, grain in the land. Breish Harim at the tops of the mountains. Amro, they said, "Asi the chita shetatamar kedekel va'ila Breish Harim." The word for a date palm is a tamar. And the word tamar means to rise up, just like the tree. Shetitamer. The tamar means to rise up. The tamar, like the smoke, it says the tamer ashan. The ashan was to tamer, was going straight up. So the tree gets its name probably. The wheat is going to stand up on the, like a palm tree on the top of the mountains. Oh, that's going to be hard to cut down. So Talmud Daimar, it says, no, don't worry about it. Yirash kalvan period. What is Yirash? Russell. Will Russell in like Lebanon. Okay. Kadosh Baruch Hu maybe ruach and base ganava v'mashra u'menashbal mashra silta. The Hashem will make a wind come out from his storage house and blow on it, and it's going to take the grain up, the flour up. Maybe mali pieces he'll fill up his hands, and from that he'll be able to live support his family. With fat of the kidneys is the wheat. That means the wheat will be so big, like the kidneys. The wheat is going to be so big, it's going to be like 2 kidneys of a big ox. Don't be surprised about this. Because there was a fox, Kinan Belefis. It bored a hole in a turnip. And they took what was remaining. And there were 60 liters left from what it was remaining after the hole in it. Tanya was taught in the Rice from Rabbi Yisrael. The person story in Sichem. His father left him 3 branches of mustard. He removed one of them. Moshe told me he used to grow mustard in Israel. I think you have to shake it out from the thing. Yeah, you have to see what mustard looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, it has like little side.
What's it have? It has like holes in it, and you shake it, and it comes out.
Yeah, it has like little seeds in it.
Little seeds.
Mustard.
So, you took one of them. Let's mix it in the seeds. Oh, getting hungry. You got 9 kav of chaydol. Each kav is, I think, 24 eggs. So 9 times 24. 216. The be'etzav and what was remaining from it, it was able to put as a roof on the hut. Those days they used like a sukkah. They could have made a roof. Amr Shimon bar Tachlifa Kelach Shel Kruv Iniach Layaba. Says, what's kruv? Cabbage. He says, a head of cabbage. My father left us. But Ilam V'Yardim by Basulim, and we would go up and down with a ladder. We needed a ladder to go up to the top of it. James and the giant peach. We'll see that coming up soon. Actually, everything is in the Torah. Vitamin of Tishtach and the blood of the grape will drink as wine. Amru loy kailam asaylam abba said that this world is not like the next world. In this world, it's very tiresome. You have to pluck the grapes, and you have to press it. Maybe another achas the car, and you bring 1 grape in a wagon, right? A spinner in a boat. You just put it in the corner of the house. What is a patas? A large jug, keg, and you'll get from that 1 grape. You just like poke a hole in it, and take out the jug. The itzav and the wood, masikin tax you'll put under the dish, under the stew. Every grape will be able to make 30 barrels of wine. Don't call it chamer, which means wine. Call it chaimer, which means a donkey. No, I'm sorry, not a donkey. Chaimer means a cord. It's another name for a cord. A cord is 30 sa. So that's what it means, that you'll get 30 barrels of wine out of this chaimer. Out of the chaimer is a cord. Yeah, well, Olam Haba probably over here means the time of Mashiach. I think so.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's, I'm not saying it's difficult. It's thinking of like country theaters, when people come with like
The pumpkins.
giant pumpkins, giant like it's a case.
Yeah.
And I wish we see these things every once in a while. So
Right.
it's just gonna be in like one or two.
Right.
Like yeah, but when you have a shed there,
There is a theory that this is the time of Mashiach. What do you mean? We have synthetic fertilizers and things. We could get things to grow anyway. This is Mashiach. This is electricity. The women when they got washing machines, like mamish Mashiach. If you go to the river, they joke about the women don't do work on the shaylas. They take the laundry and they do all the work, and then they call the husband to come push the button. Right. Yeah. Yasser Avdimi Amar Maidiksiv, a cereal like Efanira binds to the grapevine. Ira is a fall, like the young deer. Now, does ear mean deer, or does it mean a city? City. Okay. It's going to take, every vine is going to take a city to be able to press the grapes. No, not to press. Lifter is to harvest. Well, a serika b'nei asainai. A serika is also a vine. B'nei asainai, the young donkey, the young of the donkey, will, I guess, be bound to it. Every tree that's Elan Srak. What's the Elan Srak? A tree that doesn't, a barren tree, is going to need 2 donkeys donkey loads to carry its fruit. Maybe you'll say there'll be no wine there. No, he's going to wash his clothing in wine. Maybe you'll say the wine won't be red. It's going to be like blood. Maybe you'll say it won't quench the thirst. Susa actually means clothing, but we're explaining it as hasata, which means like to be seduced. It means it'll be intoxicating. Maybe you'll say it won't taste good. His eyes will turn red. Any palate that tastes this is going to say me, like give me more. Maybe it'll just be a kid's drink. The adults won't like it. Talmud Laimar, Gatorade or something. It's Ben Shinayim. Ben Shinayim, it'll be white like teeth, white like milk. The teeth will be white like milk. I'll tickle the Ben Shinayim. Don't call it Ben Shinayim. The teeth. El Ben Shanim. It's going to be for the aged. Pashti the Krav Maiksiv. What is the simple shot in this pasuk? We just learned it in an interesting way. Yasser Avdimi Amra Amr Knesset Shalach Nei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Jewish people say to Hashem, Rabbeinu Shalom, R'moiz beinecha. Give us a wink with your eye. I mean, it's like, show us that you like us. The Basar Mechamra, that's even better than wine. Va'achvili shinecha, and I'll show you a smile. The Basar Mechaba, which is even better than milk. Messiah Rabbi Yechanan, achvili shinecha means show. No, achvili, show to me your teeth. It's not I will show you. Show to me your teeth, which means to smile, and then which is even better than milk. Messiah Rabbi Yechanan.
These brachos are to Yehuda, right?
Right.
Before Mashiach, this is just like Moshe's bracha, Bazot bracha.
Right. Where was the Sereka B'nei Asainai? That was by Yaakov. Kibes Bayayin Levushe was by Yaakov. What is this? Damin of Tishtachama was by Moshe, right? Ben Shinai Michalov is in Zeno. That's by Moshe, correct? Okay. It's better to smile at someone than to feed him milk. That's more helpful. Doesn't mean the ben shinayim, which means like the young, rather it means the whiteness of the teeth, to show the whiteness of the teeth. Smile. Rab Chia bar Abba Mikridar the Reb Lakish. Rab Chia bar Abba was a teacher for Reish Lakish's students, or Reish Lakish's children, I guess. Ifkar, he didn't show up. Tlasi Yomi, 3 days. Ifkar Tlasi Yomi, he was absent 3 days. Well, yes, he didn't come. He also, when he shows up, I'm why were you absent? Amalei Dallas Achas Hiniach Liaba. My father left me a vineyard. I took off grapes on the first day. Gimel Me'aseh Shkolos, 300 clusters. Eskol Legerev. Each cluster made a barrel of wine. Yom Sheni, the second day, besides Gimel Me'aseh Shkolos, I also took off 300 clusters. Shtei Eskolos Legerev. 2 clusters made a barrel of wine. Yom Shlishi, on the third day, besides Gimel Me'aseh Shkolos, I took off 300 clusters. Sholish Eskolos Legerev. 3 clusters per barrel. This guard to Yosim Mechatzi, and I had to leave over more than half of the rest of remaining. I just couldn't do it all. Amalei, you should know that if you would have showed up, you would have even made more. Because why? You see how it was getting less and less every time. Rami bar Yecheskel likol Bnei Brak. Rami bar Yecheskel went to Bnei Brak. Chazinu lahanu easy the kachlan tusiteini. He sees these goats that are eating underneath the fig tree. The figs were so ripe that they were dripping honey. And the milk was dripping from the goats. So was mixing together the milk, the honey with the milk. Amar, he said, this is what the Torah says. It's going to flow with milk and honey. Amar Rabbi Yaakov ben Destoi. Rabbi Yaakov ben Destoi says, Milud la'ono, shleisha milim. From this place to this place, there's 3 mil. Hamachas kidamti b'neshef. I woke up early in the morning, balachti ad kersuli b'dvash shel teinim, and I walked into my ankles. Kersuli is the ankle, ankle deep in the honey of figs. Amarish Lakish l'didi chazli zabas chalav b'dvash shel tzipori. He said, I saw the milk and honey of tzipori. Rabbi Shitzin Milin, Ashitzer Milin. It was an area of 16 mil by 16 mil, like a pool of milk and honey. Amar Rabba bar Bechana dichasli zavas chal vashal kol Eretz Yisrael. Rabba bar Bechana says, I saw the milk and honey of all of Israel. And Vahavi kemibeit michsi ad ikri v'tilbanki chaf beis parsi yorko pusya shita parsi. It was 22 parsais length by 6 parsa wide. That's how big it was. From this place to this place. Okay, Rab Chelbai, Rab Avir, Rab Yosef bar Chanina, Nikla lahu Asra. Rab Chelbai, Rab Avir, Rab Yosef bar Chanina, they come to this place. Isaac Hamayo a Parsika. Parsika is the peach. They bring him this peach. Dabi ki ilfas kvarhino, which was like ilfas is a pot. It was like a stew as big as a pot of kvarhino. Ilfas kvarhino kamahavi. How big is this pot that's in kvarhino? Probably a bat. Hey son can hold 5 saw. Each saw is 144 eggs. Okay. Achlu shlish v'fkiru shlish v'naslu v'behemtim shlish. This was this peach that they brought to them. They ate a third. They left over a third, and they let the animal eat the other third. The Shanekla Rabbi Lazar Lahasam. The next year, Rabbi Lazar comes there. Vaisal Kamei, and they bring it in front of him. Not to be he was able to hold it in his hand. It means that's how small they became. Amru Amar, he said, Eretz Pri Lamalecha. A land that gives fruit turns into salted soil. That can't grow anything. Miras Yeshiva. Why did that happen? Because of the evil that's dwelling there. Yeshua ben Levi Gavla comes to this place Gavla. Well, Chazino Lahani Ketuv, he sees these clusters that are standing like calves. He sees them. They look like they're the size of an animal. Amar Agolam Bein Ekram, there's calves amongst the grapevines. Amalei Ketufin, those are not calves. Those are clusters of grapes. Amar Eretz. He says, land. Achnisu Perisayach. Take your fruits in. Take them back. Who you bring them out? Perisayach. Who are you giving them to? La Rav Malalo to these Arabs, Shamda Alina B'Chatisenu, because that are standing here because of our sins. Lashana Ikla Rabchia Lahasam. Next year Rabchia comes. Chazinu Dahane Dahavikaimiki easy. Is that they're not like calves. Calves are cows, young cows. Now they're only like goats. Well, Amr, easy man in front of me says there's goats amongst the grapevines. Amr Leizil, they say, get out of here. We don't want you to do to us what your friend did to us. He made that comment and they already shrunk the grapes. From the brachas of Eretz Yisrael, Beisa is a chameshes ribi kurin. A Beisa is going to make 50,000. Chameshes ribi is 10,000, right? So 10,000. 5,000. Okay. 50. I think it's 50. 50,000. 1 0. Yeshivas Shal Tzayan, and we know this from the settlement of Tzayan, because they saw Shivin Kurin, a Beisa there makes 70 kor. The Tanya was taught in the Bryce. I'm Rav Meir. The Meir says, "Aniri used to be because Beishan. I saw in the valley of Beishan, Beisa is a Shivin Kurim. A Beisa made 70 kor. And Beishan is not Israel, but the best area is the land of Egypt. That was considered the what they call it, the bread basket or something. What they call it? No, that wasn't Egypt. But Egypt was called the bread basket of the Middle East. That was where everything grew. It's like the garden of Hashem, like the land of Egypt. What was the best area of Egypt? Tzayan. There were kings lived there. Okay. And Tzayan lived all the ministers. No, Tzayan is the land of Egypt. Tzayan Mitzrayim. And there's no more rocky land in Israel more than Hebron. So it's the burial place. That's where they used to have a burial. But nevertheless, Hebron is 7 times better than Tzayan, which is the best of Egypt. Because when the spies came in, it says that Hebron was built 7 years before Mitzrayim. Now, my Nivna, so what does it mean it was built? You'd think that it was actually built before Mitzrayim. Who inherited Egypt? Canaan. I'm sorry, who inherited Hebron? Canaan. Who inherited Egypt was Mitzrayim. That was his name. Shenemar b'nei Cham, with the children of Cham, which is the son of Noach, Cush Mitzrayim put to Canaan. Was Cush? It's Cush is Ethiopia. Mitzrayim, which became Egypt. Put was also probably Punt or something. Was also like one of the areas near Egypt. Canaan, and Canaan, which was the land of Israel. So we see that Canaan is the youngest son. So why would he have built a city for Canaan before he built a city for Mitzrayim? It's built better. It's better land 7 times more than Tzayan. That means that if Tzayan produced 7, then this would produce 49. And that's only the rocky area. It would produce 500. And that's even when it's not with the blessing. And Meya Sharim, it says that he planted and he found 100 times more. Okay, what is the calculation here? It's 100 times 500. And that's how he gets to 100 times 500 is 50,000. That's how we get to 50,000. Okay, Tanya Amar Rab Yaisi saw Yehuda. 1 saw of Yehuda, Yaisa Chamish saw and would make 5 saw. Can I use this pencil? What would it do? There was a saw of flour, saw kema. There was another saw of soilas. That's fine flour. Kemach is like a more coarse flour. So subin was one of brand. So morsan. Morsan is the brand. Subin is like both types of brand. Coarse brand. We saw kiburia, and then there was a saw of kiburia that was used to make like a black bread, I think. Amaleu Tzeduki le Rabbi Chanina. This Tzeduki says to Rabbi Chanina, Ya mishpachisu ba be'arkain. It's good that you're be'arachain. It's good. You're already improving your land. Beisa achas iniach liaba. There was one saw my father left me. Mena mashach mimena. From it we took out chamar. Chamar is the does that mean 30 saw? Mimena ibur. A wine. Chamar over here means wine. From it we took out. From that saw, I was able to get wine. From it I was able to get out ibur, which I guess means grain. Mimena kitnius, I was able to get out legumes. Mimena rayas miknasi. From it I was able to pasture my flock, just in that one saw. Amli ubara mayra lebar ara Yisrael. This Amayra, which was from the Amori tribe, said to a Jewish person, it says, Hi Talsa, which is a palm tree, the Kaima Aguda di Ardena, that's on the border of the Jordan. Kama Gedir Sumine, how much did you get out of it? Well, Amalei Shitin Kuri, I got out 60 kor. Amalei Akatile Elisabe Achriv Tua. You haven't gotten out of its destruction because Anan may have Esikuri Habi Gosrinan Mine. Because we used to get 120 out of it. Amalei, so he said, Ananami Michad Isa Kaminalach. I was referring to just one side. That's what I got. Okay, let's leave the rest for this evening. All right, 7:30.
What time is Mincha, Rabbi?
Mincha, I think, is 6:30. Is that correct?